Welcome to another financially fabulous episode. This is the place to be to learn about money and get inspired to take small steps to improve your finances. I'm Lee Moore, and while I'm not a financial planner, I'll show you what I've learned. In this episode, I'll be talking about transportation costs and why I sold my car. Come on, this will be fabulous. Okay, let's talk about transportation and how much it costs. We all allocate a significant portion of our income every single month for the ability to get from one place to another. But do we really realize how much it's costing us? According to Stats Canada numbers that were updated in 2016, the average household is spending about $80,000 in expenses, and 15% of that is on transportation. This works out to be about $12,000 a year on transportation. What's even more interesting to me is that 90% of that total is spent on private transportation, like owning your own car, and only 10% of that is on public transportation. I'd like to share with you my experience. I was very fortunate to have a car since I was a teenager. I grew up just north of Toronto in the suburbs, and honestly, having a car kind of felt like a necessity. There really wasn't any good public transportation that I could take. I drove my younger sisters around, and I also used the car to get to school and back. But in my mid-20s, I moved into the city and started working there too. When you live in a city like Toronto, where I live, and presuming that you haven't reached a fancy executive status where you have your own parking spot, you just take public transportation because parking downtown can cost $20 to $30 a day. Having my friends, work, and most of my life located in the city, I hardly ever drove my car. In fact, it got to the point that when I would use my car to get groceries, I would literally have to dust it off. Just parking it in the garage for a week or longer, it would get kind of dirty. I thought about selling my car for a really long time. This was a difficult decision for me because I'd had a car almost since I started driving, and conventional society presumes that if you can afford a car, well, you should have one. I hummed and I hawed for a very long time. And then one day, I finally did the math. If I cabbed every single place that I drove, it would be way cheaper than keeping my car. Parking in my building was about $175 a month. Insurance was an insane amount living in the city. Of course, parking when I got to my destination was really expensive. Oh yeah, and then there was still gas and maintenance costs. Basically, it was about $1,000 a month, which is actually pretty consistent with what Statistics Canada said, at $12,000 a year for an average household. So I finally took the plunge and I sold my car. It's been almost 4 years and it was one of the best financial decisions I've ever made. Now I take public transportation, cab, Uber, get rental cars. Sure, there's definitely some times when having a car would be more convenient, but given my lifestyle and where I live, not owning a car actually works really well for me. So let's take a look at the financials. By not having a car, I save $12,000 a year annually. I pay probably $2,000 a year in cabs and rental cars, and this means that I save about $10,000 a year for each of the last 4 years. That's $40,000. Do you feel a little bit differently now about that slight inconvenience of not having a car? Guess where that money is now? In a property that's making me money. Cha-ching! I'm not suggesting that you should sell your car, but I'm asking you to rethink how much money you spend on transportation and if there is another more creative and flexible way that you can get around. To be clear, I'm also not against having a car, but I am against having one that I hardly ever use, and moreover, I was paying big bucks for it. When my life changes and it suits me, guess what? I'll buy a car. But for now, I'll pass. That brings me to today's tweetable. Don't let your transportation costs drive away with your financial future. Here's my challenge to you. I want you to actually calculate how much money you spend every month on transportation. Then look at the costs to see if there's anything that you can do creatively to decrease those costs. Leave a comment below letting me know what you think of the possibility of having a more creative transportation solution. Don't forget to access the free downloadable below at lemore.money to help you with this challenge. Did you like this video? Did you learn something? Subscribe to my channel, it's free, and share it with your friends. And if you want even more tips and tricks to make your financial journey fun and exciting, come on over to lemore.money and sign up for email updates. Remember, I'm not here to change who you are or how you live your life. I just have strategies to make you even more financially fabulous. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Till then, stay fabulous. Oh, you want to know what sound money makes? Vroom vroom, beep beep, vroom vroom.